What's up, chat? No, he didn't. No, he didn't come back in the yellow hoodie. We are out here. Hoodie season for Hoodie Raj.
Yes, sir. We back in the building with the yellow hoodie. Yellow hoodie plays today. Only fire.
Back like he never left. Even though it is Thursday, November 18th, 2021. You have missed out on quite a week of basketball. Ups and downs. Last night, your leading fantasy scorer, Giannis Antetokounmpo, catching the Lakers for 66 and a quarter. Then right behind him, Jimmy Butler, 64 DKP. Not a stunner, but the news kind of shook out a little differently than I thought. I thought it would be Adebayo in, Butler out, but happened to go the other way. So Butler got himself a huge fantasy point night. He was one of my core players, 31, 10, and 10 in 37 minutes. Jimmy minutes. And then third on the slate for fantasy points, James Harden, then Jason Tatum, and then Talen Horton-Tucker. Just a kiss under 5K got there. Lou Dort, Russell Westbrook, Kristaps Porzingis, Alex Caruso, bunch of value plays popped all the way off last night. So that's a great reflective piece where I'm constantly preaching, like, you don't need as much from your big guys. I don't mean that in terms of romp. I mean, you don't need 7-8x from 11, 12K, because on those big slates, you're going to have those guys overperforming, like your Taylor Horton Tuckers, your Caruso's, guys that will go 10x and beyond. So you'll start taking the raw points from the top, and that's why I also don't roll out of bed and get excited for 3K guys that I don't got going much more than 20 DKP, right? You usually on a decent sized slate will need a little bit more. Of course, every slate has its own snowflake fingerprint. We saw a slate just the other night, 3-gamer, that was almost the opposite. But anyway, what are you gonna do? We are live chat. Shout out to you guys. Hey, if you're on Twitter, there's the tweet. Retweet that sucker, man. Let's get this party started. We've got Crispy in the chat. My love, Danielle. Even though she kind of roasted me on that short, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey man, Christian Wood was not the play in NBA. Clearly not the play in your household.
Whoa, buddy.
That's what Danielle's saying, man. That's what she's saying.
It was
at least Christian Wood played 3 quarters. Danielle acting like you played 10 seconds.
Hey, man. I mean, I hit value off the bench in a couple minutes. Kickstart.
It happens. It happens. Sometimes a couple minutes all you need, man. Couple minutes all you need.
JC's man cave.
Give me the pill for that. I got you. I can send you the pill for that.
What's up, Fish fan? Mongo. Rod's looking like
Fish might need the pill too. Shout out Fish at his age.
God damn it. I gotta remind myself we're on the air because I had a joke for you. I can't do it. What up, Mongo?
I'm like Usain Bolt, Barry. My 10 seconds are legendary. Shout out Usain Bolt.
This guy, Brody. What up, Brody? What up, Encore? Encore said it's the Banana Man. Raj, tell you, man. Curious George. Quan. What up, Quan? Rich homie. Quan won that week pass yesterday. Encore says Rod's gonna lead us to the promised land.
That's the way, baby. Today's the day. I feel it. It's 6-gamer. It's a nice little slate. I feel it.
It's Quan's birthday. What's up, Quan? Happy birthday. Hit the Quan. I don't know how to hit the Quan, but I'm sure you know. Hit the Quan. What up, JC's Man Cave Spend Duck? Did I miss anybody? Dang lazy mofo. Gil says Hero Deadman screwed me. Still cash with Giannis, THC Brunson. Yeah. Last night, the VIP crew kind of rolls with the same projections and the optimal lineup that our projections spat out. Did some damage last night, Raj. I'm sure you looked up in the Discord today and saw some screenshots, right? Not alone. You didn't, but yeah, there's a lot of top 5 finishes across the board last night, and the only dud was Mr. Tyler Hero. And I'll tell you what, man, for a guy who had like negative points after one quarter, essentially.
He had a good second half.
Yeah, he kind of turned it up to not be like. I mean, obviously, you feel like you couldn't win with him, but we had a bunch of top 5s across the board with him. Yeah. But yeah, man, if he just did what he did in the second half and the first half, it wouldn't be an issue.
Oh, game over. Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw in the second half, he threw up a lob and it accidentally went in.
After that first half, he needs some run good.
Guess now I'll start doing good. Voice chat would be good today. Can already tell. Yeah, man, we vibe it out. It's a late lock tonight. We got football as well. Short slate. We love these medium-sized slates, so I'm hoping for an easy Thursday vibe sesh, and hopefully we make some money tonight. We'll try and go get this 100K over on Fanduel.com. If you guys are in the Discord elite section, you guys know what I'm talking about. The door is open for that. Code words. What up, Lorenza? Anyway, any surprises last night? Nothing significant. Let's see. Atlanta beat Boston by 11. Brooklyn beat the Nets as they should. Nets are not the Nets. Brooklyn beat the Cavs like they should. Charlotte.
Bruce Brown keeps coming through.
Oh man. Ed Davis started. That was a little unexpected. Charlotte beat Washington by 10. Neither team scored over 100. Orlando beat the Knicks 104-98. Maybe a little unexpected there. Milwaukee beat the Lakers. Not unexpected, but the Lakers put up maybe more of a fight than people gave them credit for. It's easy to write them off, and their defense has been so bad, especially with Chris Middleton coming back. It was only a 7-point game down the wire. So kudos to the Lakers for not sucking as much. The T-Wolves 107, Kings 97. The Thunder over the Rockets 101-89. Rocks, these are a lot of scores where some teams under 100, a lot of teams barely over 100. I feel like I'm reading a box score from 96 or something. The Suns over the Mavericks 105-98. And then the Portland Trailblazers 112 over 107. So we did not get, and that's why, we didn't have a ton of 60, 70 bombs, but we haven't really been getting that 128 to 122 type of basketball as often. And I think a lot of it is obviously the foul rules changing and stuff like that. But we're also just seeing some more methodical paces and some teams playing better defense. Golden State, of course, rewriting the book on that department. So something to think about, something to watch. Speaking of something to watch, Underdog NBA tweeted out some injury stuff that we should be keeping an eye on throughout the rest of the day. So you guys know how we do it. We're live. If something drops, be sure to spam the chat. Let us know that X is out, and we'll try and react appropriately. Steph Curry's probable. Bam Adebayo is probable. Tyler Hero questionable. Will Barton questionable. Terrence Mann questionable. And Nick Batum is doubtful. And that's interesting because that front court rotation for the Clippers could get a little light.
A little Luke Kennard-ish?
A little bit more Zubac, a little bit more of Isaiah Hartenstein, who is not Jokic. He's Jokic.
Stretch, but I hear you.
It's a thing that we're doing. All right, let me make sure I got all the appropriate windows open. We got DraftKings. We probably need to run DFS open. We'll get that plugged. I guess I need a contest open on DraftKings. Chat, you guys, where are you guys playing the most of your action tonight? I know it's kind of weird. Like on the stream, I'll focus on DraftKings more, it feels like. And I think it's really just a reaction because I like their game logs more. they're more aesthetically pleasing.
I think DraftKings is more popular in general, too.
Yeah, maybe.
They have more.
But I found myself, even despite the changes that Fanduel made, I found myself playing way more action on Fanduel. And I think it's because the Fanduel pricing is loose, and you would think like maybe that's a bad thing, but I mean I've been enjoying it. Like yesterday, I was getting some really strong plays. Results be darned. Like yesterday, I got Jalen Green at 5% own. Like there was no Kevin Porter Jr. Like not obviously he didn't break the slate or nothing, but it was just like I'm getting plays like that decently low owned, and ownerships are way different over there. So yeah, maybe the DK player base is a little sharper, but also I just like a little bit more flexibility in lineups because of pricing. A lot of DK slates get priced to holy get out, and can't really do as much. So I like to at least have fun watching some lineups that I'm making. So I don't know, maybe that's where I'm at. But chat, I'm curious to see what you guys think. You guys definitely represent a lot of the field. Make Arthur, what up, Dale? Brandon Boston 20 DKP last game. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Oh, I gotta scroll up a little bit, man. You guys are crushing it in chat. Holy. Run the likes up. Yeah, let's run the likes up. Maybe we'll do another giveaway. We'll see. Do you ever play single entry or strictly tournament? I do play strictly tournament. I haven't really been a cash game player in a long time. Last time I was really in the cash game streets was for NFL. But cash games are they're so tough. Like people are so smart. This really comes down to a lot of 1v1s, 2v2s. And it's just not really fun. Even if you grind out cash to a 60% win rate, which is hard but like elite at the same time, I don't really care about the 10% margin there. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, unless you're betting like 100K a day, that 10% is not gonna.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
exciting.
This isn't like real estate or a 12%
Yeah.
yearly ROI, and you got to work your butt off for those. So I don't really play gas like that. But yeah, I am a tournament player. I feel like the tournament field
I think he's all talking about like large field single entry tournaments. I think those are fine. You always want to throw a lineup in there. Yeah, like single entry is like, like the large field single entry tournaments too, right? Not just like 1v1s.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, for me, tournaments are like the best. I don't know, the best space for an edge left, and really the biggest edge in basketball, or really any DFS sport these days, is just ownership and leveraging the ownership. So in cash games, it doesn't make sense as much to leverage ownership. Matter of fact, it's kind of a counterintuitive, but in tournaments, it makes sense to leverage ownership and favor uniqueness a little bit more versus the chalk optimal, right? Damron in the chat here. What up, Josh plays DFS. Giuliano, Wizards lousy and sloppy, too many threes, and Kuzma building a brick house one at a time. Yeah, that was tough. Tall, what up, Tall? Dude, the chat is just like zooming on my screen right now. I'm trying to get caught up here.
Hell here.
Shout out to you guys. You guys are lit though. Hit them thumbs up. Quan says I play one single entry on both sites. Yeah, that's fine. Like I used to do that, and I definitely like everyone grinds their own way, and that's why I like our community is because everyone has their own approach, right? There's some guys out here playing one lineup. I've in the last couple of years, if you guys have been in the Discord voice chat, you've heard me and Chronic like have this cash game versus tournament debate, and now Chronic is turning in top 5, top 10 finishes in tournaments every freaking week. It feels like finished second yesterday. He will get that number 1 spot soon. But yeah, there's still some guys out there playing 3 entry max, 5 entry, 20 entry stuff.
A lot of 3 entry single entry too, and I always throw in the single entry in the 100K first some nights when you don't feel like making 10 or 20 lineups.
For me, like playing one lineup is, I don't know. Once you start to appreciate ranges of outcomes and being able to look at a couple different games and kind of like play out the ranges of outcomes, like I could see this happening, or I could see this guy who chucks a lot of threes and he shoots 20% from 3, but if he has to, if he's on fire, I could see this happening. Like once you see ranges of outcomes, for me, it's like so hard to stick with one lineup because there's always going to be people that you think are good plays that you can't play. So, if I had to if I got stuck on an island, I could only do this one type for the rest of my life. It would be 20 entry max, but I love running 50, and of course, a couple times a week I'm running 100, 150, but that's not as like lucrative. It's just more of just trying to win first place, right? Dating site for DFS players looking for love. Listen. Did you play any Horford yesterday? I did. Horford on Fanduel.
He did not come through.
So on Fanduel he was like 6,900 or something like that. And I don't remember being upset by Horford in my life.
Like 30, yeah. He was like whatever. Yeah. Maybe more on Fanduel because of the steals and blocks were a little more, but DraftKings, especially with, he was kind of like the pivot to Porzingis in case Porzingis failed. So if you played Horford, which I did over Porzingis, the lineups get different, did not work
out. Josh says winning lineup had Dort, Pat Bev, and Caruso. I don't think I'm that.
Shout out my boy Dort.
So I did have Dort and Caruso exposure. Obviously had a ton of THT. Patrick Beverly was not in my player pool, but hey, those 11 game slates, man, like you can't play everyone. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
I feel like yesterday the winning lineup, if you ran like 100 lineups, you might have got to that combination. Because look, like every guy that was in the winning lineup was a play that was talked about. It seemed like
if you trusted the projections yesterday, for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, it was very easy to overthink the Porzingis situation, and he ended up being an optimal play, right? Josh says I do worse when I use the optimizer. So I say this to everyone that's new to using optimizers. Optimizers isn't a magic button, right? It's a tool, right? I can have a drill gun. Doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm a carpenter, right? Like it'll help me, but I still got to line it up and use it appropriately. So with an optimizer, first of all, you have to either agree with the projections that are in it or feed it projections that you trust. And then secondly, you should be putting your fingerprints on these players, right? I'm going through my first step when I open up Fantasy Cruncher is I take every single player out of the pool, and then I go game by game, kind of like we're doing here on the stream, and I start activating people in my player pool. I start designating, an exposure, like what's the most I would like of this person. If I really like them, I think they're a core player, I'll hit the thumbs up next to them 3 times, and maybe I'll even inflate their projection just a little bit, and go from there. So like the optimizer, you shouldn't just like buy a subscription and click optimize 150 lives. You still got to really put your fingerprints on it. Maybe set some correlation rules, your group, stuff like that. So just kind of vet the lineups as you make them, and I think you'll find a little bit more success. It's an invaluable tool, but it's a tool, right? The tool doesn't build the house. The person using the tool still has to have a heavy input on the house building process. Nathan Wagner, what's up? Do you think Jokic is a must play, currently fading him at single entry, playing Gobert instead? I would assume that I have Jokic as the highest projected raw scorer. I'll open up my projections here and double check. But on a 6-game slate to forego the highest projected scorer on the slate, it's a little bit risky.
I play Jokic every day. He could be 13-5 and I'm playing him.
Yeah. Must play is a little bit subjective, right? Like if a couple other 8K, 9K guys get there within 10 points or whatever. I got Jokic at 61. That's 10 points higher than Paul George right now at 51. So it would definitely be in a single entry, a guy that I would probably want to think about starting with. But usually in any lineup, especially for single entry, I try to find 4 or 5 guys that are priced a little too low. And kind of build around that, and then hopefully I can get into Jokic, right? Anything else in chat? We got some time today, so these are good questions. I'm having some fun right now. Quinn says, for NBA, I used to grind cash games, but since 2018, I almost exclusively MME large field tournaments. In NFL, I play mostly cash games because I feel that there's still an edge in NFL cash. Yeah, NFL cash is still beatable, I think, but I think that's because
there's so much more money in NFL too.
There's more money, and it's also just like the largest casual player base, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the information that the casual players are using, even if they are watching, YouTube videos and consuming content, stuff like that. A lot of that content has a shorter shelf life than the field is allowing it to have, right? You'll see some Sunday mornings you get like a surprise scratch, and people don't react to playing the backup. Ezekiel Elliott goes down, and Tony Pollard's not a lot, stuff like that. So I do think NFL is still the softest field, but that's just because it's the largest field and it still has the most casuals. Usually NBA will start okay, and then after a month or two, people that aren't winning are just stopping. And then baseball, it's like the first week, and then after that, people are like, wait a minute, Verlander got blown up, this sport's unpredictable.
Bro, baseball is a sport where like only like real serious DFS players grind it out. Like there's no casual DFS baseball players,
I guess so.
Like, yeah, it's not a thing.
Baseball's the best the best. Josh says, I limited my player pool to like 30 players. My best lineup was the one I hand built. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure when you hand build your lineup, it probably has a correlation that you liked, right? So yesterday, our top optimal lineup from my projections, I lock a few players in, and I locked my core plays, and then I locked Brunson and Porzingis because it was heavily correlated. I locked in, unfortunately, Tyler Hero, THT, and then just let it rip. So even then, even if you're using an optimizer, like I said, just lock a few plays, script a few around that, and keep it moving, right? What's the cost for Fantasy Cruncher NBA? I don't know for sure, but what I do know is that if you sign up for RunDFS.com and you get any pass of your choosing, you do get a voucher towards a Fantasy Cruncher subscription, whether it be a week pass, 2-week pass, month pass, the 2020 year pass. You'll get a little bit of credit towards a Fantasy Cruncher membership, and then that will allow you to maybe transfer my projections to your Cruncher player pool. Or to your Cruncher, just your Fantasy Cruncher, and then you can go from there. And then if you're in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, which you should be, you can hit me up. Yo, Gun, how do I do this? And I'll be like, yo, hop in voice real quick. I'll show you. I got you. I am my brother's keeper. So I don't know what their actual cost is at each level. I know they have several different levels. I know they have, some for people that are balling on a budget and some for people that want to go crazy with it. So just check it out, fantasycruncher.com, right? JC's Man Cave all in tonight playing with the children's lunch money. Let's go. Pat Bev and Isaiah Hartenstein don't hit value. Syrup sandwiches. What the F is that? Is that where you put like peanut butter and syrup?
I guess that's a thing, yeah. But
my
I'm not a big syrup on bread guy, but it's cool.
I swear my mom used to do that when I was a kid. She would put peanut butter, syrup, and jelly and mix it, and then I don't know, be like remember the peanut butter jelly in a jar?
Oh yeah, now they have it mixed up together. It's so weird.
So weird.
It is. Yeah. How do you put it in a jar already mixed? I get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but separate a jar of jelly, a jar of peanut butter, but having it mixed together, I feel like can't be good.
Josh says Christian Wood, Ant-Man, and Hero killed me last night. Meanwhile, people get stealing games from Caruso, Pat Bev, Dort in the same lineup. I got to do better. I wouldn't. So you reverse engineer some stuff. Obviously, I can't pull up Wood here, but Christian Wood was one of my core plays. He was one of my favorite plays yesterday. So I don't think necessarily the play was bad. He definitely had a bad shooting night, which you don't expect a center to really shoot under 35% often, but he did. Anthony Edwards, I think that'll be a volatile player, slate to slate, game to game. Him, D'Angelo Russell, Cat can all kind of cannibalize each other, and there'll be games where he gets to 30s, there'll be games where he gets to 50. So that one's iffy. Tyler Hero was a smash play pre-flop too. No no Lowry, no Adebayo. Like you said, if he replicated his second quarter, his first quarter, he's the play of the slate. So you can't really dog yourself on that. I think your process on those three isn't really something that needs to be refined. Maybe Edwards shouldn't have been a core play ever, but Hero and Wood were guys that I was on heavily. So if you trust my judgment, I was there with you for 66% of that. Tastes like a pancake. Let's go. Yo, we got syrup sandwich eaters in the chat. Let's go.
Different. I feel like rather take the time to make the pancakes, bro.
Man, I can't remember the last time I made pancakes.
Yeah, I can make some protein pancakes too these days. Throw some protein powder in the batter. Get your protein in.
I used to work the night shift, right? When I was 18.
Yeah.
I had a baby on the way, so I had to put aside life and go get a real job. So I became a correctional officer, and they stuck me out in this maximum security unit in the middle of nowhere. And I worked the night shift, and I would work so much. I would work 7 out of 8 days, right? I would work overtime, blah, blah, blah. And it's all overnight, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day. I'm not making this up. Literally every day for 2 years, all they fed was pancakes. So I was like, I never want to eat a pancake in the free world again. I don't want to do it. And then a couple years ago, or a couple years after my first stint there, I go to IHOP, and I was like, oh, free rolled pancakes are really doggone good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Some buttermilk pancakes, some chocolate chips. Ooh. So good.
Let's talk some basketball, chat. We got a late lock tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Check this out, Raj. This is kind of a turbo slate. Now, I've been wanting to do a live sweat concept, meaning if we catch a slate almost exactly like this, that's within an hour and a half, from first game to the last lock, it's all an hour and a half. It's almost a turbo slate. I was like, man, this would have been a slate to live stream. Now, I'm not gonna live stream this one, but if another one comes along the way, I think it would be a fun stream. And the reason why I won't be live streaming this one is because I will be doing the Awesemo Slate Starter podcast. You guys can find that on the Awesemo channel, waiting for you in the middle of the night. So look out for that. It might even be up a little earlier to get you started for tomorrow's big slate. So yeah. Encore says I'm an XCO. Let's go. I'm an XM8. Let's go. Hey, we all humans, right? We all X whatever, but we all current humans. I got love for all of y'all. All of y'all. Golden State Warriors at the Cleveland Warriors. At the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Go. Here you go.
Golden State Warriors at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Project starting five for the Warriors: Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevin Looney, taking on Ricky Rubio. Pretty Ricky. Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Ed Davis. Spot start yesterday. 209.5 is our total. 9.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Golden State Warriors. Jared Allen, Larry Markkinen, Evan Mobley, Colin Sexton, and Lamar Stevens all listed as out here for the Cavs, and they are very short-handed. And then we had some conditioning concerns and reservations of Kevin Love. And yesterday he was somebody that I thought I would be able to talk myself into playing. I think I still got to a couple dabs of him over on Fanduel. But now it's a back-to-back, so extra caution here in a matchup where I could, see him needing to chuck threes as a part of their game plan. But there has not been anything official on what his status would or would not be, so maybe something to keep an eye on. Only got to 21 minutes yesterday, so as they start to ease him back in with a minutes limit, something to be cognitive of. But he is somebody that historically would not stun us if he accrued over a fantasy point per minute. So if that 20 minutes, maybe not tonight, but sooner or later becomes 25 minutes, if we get a little bit of opportunity without Mobley and Jared Allen, I definitely would be okay with getting there. So something to look out for. Overall, though, this feels like a really, really bad spot for the Cavs right now. Obviously, the Warriors will force a lot of teams to go small regardless, but there are not many metrics here that line up favorably for the Cavs and their chances. If we go look at offensive efficiency, the Cavs have a bottom 10 offensive rating, 105.9 points per 100 possessions. And defensively, 104.5 points per 100 possessions. You line that up with the Golden State Warriors, who allow 99.2 points per 100 possessions, while also averaging 112.3 points per 100 possessions. This could get a little ugly, could get a little lopsided. If it does stay within 20 points, there are some big minutes to be thrown on guys like Ricky Rubio, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, Jetty Osmond to an extent. Raj, I guess we got to play some game scripts here. It is a 6-gamer. Darius Garland and more so Ricky Rubio both garnered ownership yesterday. My projections, if they got these type of minutes, like them to be competitive. But when will we learn our lesson with the Warriors, man? If they can shut down KD and Harden, they can shut down just about anyone. How are you game scripting this game? Do you want to take some shots on it? Someone staying close, and if it did, would Steph Curry be the play? Or do you want to get a little creative in big field 100K to first, project a blowout, and to be like, you know what, Jonathan Kuminga is bare bones min price on DK, a little too cheap. You know what, Gary Payton, guys like that. How do you play this one? Do you walk the line? Do you do a little bit of both? Do you think the Cavs have any chance of being competitive?
I think the Cavs have a chance, but I think it's only competitive if kind of the Warriors have a bad shooting night and the Cavs kind of step up defensively, and it's a 94-91 type of game. And that's the only way the Cavs kind of keep it close here. So in that case, even if it's close, I don't want to play anyone. And if it's a blowout, even a blowout, I mean, again, you mentioned guys that you think might get extra one in a blowout, like a Gary Payton. But again, it's just I don't think you need to get there today. I don't think you need to get that. And I mean, Gary Payton's 3,900 too, so not necessarily a great value at that price point. I mean, this game just seems like a write-off to me. I mean, even on the Cleveland side, you have Rubio who just kind of gets there every slate. Like he never wins. He's getting you basically like 35 to 39 DKP. He's playing 33 to 35, 37 minutes, 36, 39, 35. Patrick gave you 6,900. So not going to win you a slate. Probably doesn't lose it for you at that price, but none to write home about. With the big situation with Allen and Mobley out, we saw last game Ed Davis played 24 minutes. Kevin Love played in his minutes were 21 minutes for Kevin Love. So I think if they just kind of split it, none of these guys seem really that great. Cedi Osman got a bump up to 6,100, even though he didn't have a great game. Only played 19 minutes. So I'm really not getting to anyone in this game, and this slate could be a 5-game slate for me.
See, I think I can't rule out the minutes creating opportunity here. Now it is a tough back-to-back. I mean, Nets to Golden State, or Nets and Golden State. But last night, Okoro played 39 minutes. Dean Wade played 37 minutes, right? Garland 40. Like, there's a lot of opportunity there. So even if the matchup,
they did get a price bump.
I mean, they did, But if more so like on FanDuel, 6K Garland got you 35, I'd take it. My stock
Yeah.
projections spit back 38. So I'm not ready to rule them out, but I think the responsible move here is to govern it. I would definitely like to feel a little bit more sure about what we might expect minute wise from Kevin Love. But yeah, I get the 6K price on Jetty Osman, definitely uncomfortable. Isaac Okoro moved up a little bit, but if I can get to the mid 20s at this
He's
price point,
4,900 on DK,
yeah.
which you want like 38. Even I mean, Garland is 6,800 on DK. It's almost like he needs that 40 DKP.
All right. Well, let's have a conversation. Steph Curry, 11.8K on DraftKings, 11.1K on FanDuel. He is, if I go to my player projections tab, he's third in my soft projections, 11 points behind Nikola Jokic. If the likelihood here is, and in chat, you let me know if you agree or disagree. If the likelihood here is that the Cavs probably aren't that competitive, is Curry a fade 11.8K and you'd rather invest that money in the Jokic? Is that a snap call? Yes.
Yeah, so like in my 3 entry max single entry, I'll have no Curry. I think even if you're running 10 lineups, I'd end up with no Curry at 20, maybe. But I mean, I think I probably like Jokic one. I might even have Paul George and just match up against Memphis. I might have project higher than Curry.
I mean, I literally have him edging out Curry. And then if Curry, even if Curry takes a backseat here and doesn't have to go full on splash brother mode, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, all pretty viable guys in and of themselves. I like the DK price points for the three. Obviously, I don't think they all coexist for an optimal game at these price points, but I think individually, I wouldn't be stunned if Draymond Green had a 40 plus or Wiggins or Poole got there. The Cavs are a team that do like to turn the ball over. If we go to that team metrics tab in the rundfs.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and we sort it from steals per game allowed, I believe you're going to find that the Cavs are the second most in turnover creation, above the Lakers and right behind the Houston Rockets. So some of these defensive stalwarts like Jordan Poole is averaging 1.4 steals per game. Draymond Green over a steal per game, almost a block per game. This could be an opportunity to take advantage of an undersized, inexperienced Cavs team and maybe fill up the stat sheet with some of these peripherals. So I do kind of like looking at some of these supplementary plays. I'm kind of in agreement with you and probably the field on ranking Jokic above Curry. How many lineups would you have to get to before you started to dabble with some Curry exposure? Because he obviously could flip a slate on its head, drop a 60, 70. But I in 20 lineups, I'm going to take a stance. Do you think you get to him in your 20, or would you need
Yeah, I mean, on DK with its pricing, I think in 20 lineups I can get to, maybe 20% Curry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably about it. Even at 50 lineups, I would probably like get to like 20 and be overweight on Jokic. I'd probably want a minimum 50% Jokic.
Okay, I mean that's a fair approach. So let's get caught up in chat. Chat, what are you guys doing with this game? Before we move on to the next one, Tommy B523 says on this slate, Rubio getting you 35 plus fantasy points. It's hard to pass up. A lot of high price dudes are questionable or out. I agree with that stance. So that's where I put them in the player pool for the opto, and I don't necessarily feel inclined or enamored with them to be a core play, but they'll be in a player pool. So if I set my optimizer to have a strict player pool and I want these guys, hey, if that takes if that needs a stock and stuffer Rubio game or something like that price range, I'll take it. But I'm kind of in agreement. Like, I'm not jamming in Rubio or Garland, but because of the minute projections that I got for them now and knowing how many minutes they could play on this, this outlet, these aren't just like obviously Lamar Stevens, but Sexton, Mobley, Markin, and Jarrett Allen, they're missing 4 starters. Like, there's minutes to be had here. So I'm going to have a lot of Cavs in the player pool, but I don't know if that'll translate to a lot of exposure. But yes, I'll trust the opto to let them fall where they fall based on the projection. And that's kind of how I fell into some Caruso, because I wasn't in love with Caruso at 6 p.m. yesterday, but I let the algorithm do the talking, and he kind of got there for me, right? Quinn says Curry plus a Cavs run back. I think that we need the Cavs to play well for Curry to play maximum minutes to put a score that you have to have. That makes sense. Curry could go for 50 plus. Yeah, Curry could blow a team out in 3 quarters. 50 plus definitely isn't breaking the slate at this price, at least 11.8. I think when you think of the top 3 price guys, Jokic, Curry, Paul George, if you invest in one of those guys, they have to be the higher scoring of the 3. I think that's just like basic understanding of value and their production. But I don't think it's crazy to see 60 plus in 3 quarters out of Curry, but I would like to know that it's a competitive game to roster him versus a guy like Jokic, who I think will be in a little bit more competitive game, and we know his responsibility is there. The Cavs are so bad offensively, and like I could see Jordan Poole having one of those big games where Curry can sit back a little bit. Nathan Wagner says very new to NBA DFS, coming here from NFL side of DFS. Love hearing your perspective. I appreciate that, Nate. That's love. Josh Gilham says Kuminga's been getting more run. Yeah, where's Josh? There's so many Joshes that I'm losing track. Which one is Mouse? Jennings? Josh Jennings. Where's Josh Jennings with the insight? He put us on Kuminga. He is like, he lives Bay Area talk radio, so he was like calling out Kuminga being the defensive guy for them to sick him on like KD and stuff like that. We've seen some really decent point per minute games because he's a defense first type of guy. You're also seeing some fouls, 4 fouls in 19 minutes against Brooklyn. But yeah, Kuminga, Gary Payton. Yeah, they got some pit bulls to sick on some people, but I don't really think that the Cavs have people that need that type of attention, right? Your stream keeps pausing for me.
Let me see YouTube error.
Anybody else seeing that? Can't see or hear stream anymore. Chat, you guys got me? It says I'm live. I don't have any frames dropping or anything like that.
I hear you good, even when I watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. Smeeze says here to just hit the like button. Can't stay. I see you, Rods. Oh no.
Oh, Sneeze. Always showing some hate love.
Oh no.
I need that NASCAR fire, Sneezy.
NASCAR's out of season, buddy.
Well, that's why he hasn't been posting anything. Makes sense.
Daytona 500.
Wait for
February. It's coming. Washington Wizards at the Miami Heat. Project starting 5 for the Wiz kids. Maybe Raul Neto, maybe Aaron Holiday, Bradley Beal, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford taking on Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G, Buckets, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. Let's see. I can't hear the bad takes, but I hear the good ones. Let's go, oh genius. Let's get caught up on some of this Miami Heat news. Start from the top. Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo had last night off. Looks like that could have been a little bit more of a precaution for Lowry, just getting him some rest, maintenance day. Bam Adebayo is listed as probable tonight, and Tyler Hero has a Q tag on him with a right wrist bruise. This comes from the official injury report, so we don't have much to go on. This is the second leg of a back-to-back, and the injury is to a shooting hand, and maybe the Heat are cautious here. Hero has also played 37-plus minutes in 5 straight, so fatigue could be a factor. And then in Jimmy Butler, who played last night, there is no designation on him. Could wonder about... I keep getting Slack messages, and it just like messed me up. Could wonder about Jimmy Butler maybe resting night 2 here, but I think if Hero is going to be potentially questionable, look out for that. I guess I didn't adjust the projection here on Lowry, but he's been removed from the news report, so he should be a full go. So if this is a full strength Miami Heat, I would say that if Lowry, Butler, and Adebayo played, you're probably not that interested in 7+ K Tyler Hero anyway, right? So I don't feel like you're missing a ton there, even if he was playing, right? If Tyler Hero's going to be in, well, at 7K, he needs 40+ here, and that's going to be easier said than done with everyone in. Washington Wizards, night 2 of a back-to-back. Spencer Dinwiddie, notable absence for them, creating a little bit more opportunity, a little bit more usage for Bradley Beal as is, and then maybe a next man up minutes for Raul Neto and Aaron Holiday. Could be either or. Both of them are in the 3Ks on DraftKings, so I think they will both kind of present themselves as a solid value option, and probably will pick up some ownership as well. Neto, versus Holiday. Do you just prefer the starter here, or do you think you'll have both? And would you feel uncomfortable with having both in the same lineup, or in a 6-game slate? Do you think you trust the projection? And then Miami Heat being as tough as they are defensively, if they're going to be full strength here, how much do you like 9,400 Bradley Beal, night 2 of a back-to-back against a tough defense on the road?
Yeah, so I mean, first between Holiday and Neto, I'm probably leaning towards Holiday. He has been starting lately. He has been playing more minutes. So if he starts, I'll probably lean more towards Holiday. When it comes to Bradley Beal, it is an interesting spot. Obviously, no Dinwiddie. He sees a usage bump here. Tough matchup. So I think in tournaments he's fine, but definitely not a safe play. Again, with the back-to-back 9-4. He's going to chuck 20 to 25 times. Could be a 50 bomb here, which is fine, but not the safest matchup. And in terms of Jimmy Butler, yeah, with Bam back, with Lowry back, I think his assists definitely go down. That was big. Last game he had 10 assists. With Lowry in, I doubt that happens. But at 9-5, again, I think even with Lowry in, he could get you, 25 points, 6 assists, 5 and a couple rebounds. He had 10 rebounds last game too. Again, I think that comes down with Bam and Adebayo back. So he's not a core piece for me in that sense. And I feel like I'd rather just pay up for the extra security of Jokic and George. But if you want to have, 20% of Butler or Bradley Beal in, 20 lineups, I think that's fine.
Yeah, Beal's. I'm on the uncomfortable side of things with Bradley Beal. I do think like Neto over Dinwiddie, maybe it would be a pass first type of situation. But yeah, you can key in on Beal as a defense, and then let KCP beat us, let Neto, Holiday beat us, Kuzma to an extent. So I'm probably going to be a little off of the Wizards as a whole. I do kind of think that the Miami Heat defense at full strength is a problem. So that's kind of how I'm going to play that one. Chad, do you guys have any hot takes opposite of me? Montrezl Harrell still 7,600 on FanDuel. So you can't even like really get to him with any level of confidence that is a sensible click over there. 6,200, you can still see a point per minute type of production. Last night, I mentioned Montrezl Harrell against the Hornets. Was it the Hornets front court? But also Daniel Gafford showed up and showed out against the Hornets front court. Now, Bam Adebayo, one of the worst matchups you could ask for. Strong individual defender, so I'm not going to run it back with any level of confidence. But 4,500 wouldn't need a whole lot on a 6-game slate to get you to maybe 24, 25 and be a viable option. But I do feel like I'm going to want to prioritize other games before this. But I think Neto and Aaron Holiday would make viable options for me. And then Denny Advia, Avija. I don't know how I would say Avia. Danny Avija, in the absence of Davis Bertans, has been kind of picking up some of that shooting responsibility for the second unit. Couple strong games as well. 11 boards, 10 boards in his last 2 games. Pelicans, Charlotte, really soft matchups. And shooting wise, 9 and 11, 8 points in his last 3 games. So maybe somebody you put in your back pocket if you do project maybe like a lopsided game. Maybe Avija can get you there in the fourth quarter, something like that. Just some back pocket plays in the absence of Bertans. And then on the Heat side, if Tyler Hero was down, we'd probably just put bigger minutes on Lowry, and I think Lowry would be a fine click here. Not a ton of confidence off the bench, maybe like a Caleb Martin or something like that for the Heat here. But I mean, the Heat were so strapped yesterday that we saw Udonis Haslem picking up some minutes. Raj, you expect to see that in 2021?
Hey, keep getting those checks, man. Let him keep getting those checks.
Yeah, Deadman comes in with a Q tag as well. So, Chad, what are you guys doing with this one? Do you guys think it's an avoidable game? Do you want to prioritize something else first? Josh says Denny's been hooping. Hit the like button, please. 80 likes and Gun will freestyle.
Hey, drop them bars.
I don't know about that, but I have thought about doing these daily short videos. I thought about doing one, but it was like a DFS wrap over. But I don't know. I'm running out of eye content. I said it yesterday. If you guys are TikTok legends out there and can come up with a less than a minute funny video, I'm all about getting the community involved in those. Julian says Kuzma bounce back. So I guess let's make use of this on-off court tool. I can't imagine we have any sample size this year of Beal and Kuzma on and Dinwiddie off, but just for the heck of it, let's check it. We got time, so let's go to Washington here. If you guys aren't familiar with this NBA Wowie tool, it is a feature that is offered by Add More Funds, exclamation point AMF in the chat. And you guys can get a link, sign up with that link. And then if you ever think about getting the premium version, they'll show me some love. So let's take off Dinwiddie. And let's put on Kuzma. Actually, let's just put Beal on. And then let's set the date to this year. It's crazy how different this Wizards team is from last year.
Yeah.
And how they've been so good flipping John Wall and Westbrook into, Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell. It's been really impressive. So, since the beginning of this season, hiccup, Beal on, Dinwiddie off. 207 minutes of sample size, 34% usage rate on Bradley Beal, a 32% assist rate, over a 1.2 fantasy point per minute. So I kind of felt like this yesterday, Raj. I was a little hesitant to believe in Kristaps Porzingis in his matchup, and he thrived, right? So I kind of feel like the same could be said here about Bradley Beal, where the numbers are saying, hey, he does this, 1.2 fantasy point per minute. You get, basic math, 1.2 times 35 minutes. Will I take 40 plus on a 6-game slate? Maybe more of a Fanduel play here, but I definitely think I can get behind it. I think I have to throttle it to not be over exposed to it. And then that's pretty much it. Chat, you guys got anything else on this game? Deadman's probable now. That's good to know. A-Town Down says, Rip, young Dolph. I like Morant, running back with PG. Is the Morant love related to the Memoriam? T-Wolves hosting the Spurs. Next game on the docket. Projected starting 5 for the Spurs: DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Dougie McBuckets, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? He's back. Cam Newton, I'm back. T-Wolves, D'Angelo Russell, Patrick Beverly crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, and Karl-Anthony Towns. The Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, a 219 total. That's the birthday with a 2-point spread. So now we're cooking with peanut oil, Raj. I feel like this is a game I can get behind. Like, I think I can roster a decent chunk of this game and feel somewhat confident. I do think that Poeltl being back, at least in the front court, it's going to really drive down interest for me on Poeltl, on Eubanks, on Thad Young. But DeJounte Murray, man, he just keeps on getting overlooked because people just aren't used to clicking his name for 9K, right? But he's been getting it done. He's flirting with a triple-double every time he's on the court. And then, a couple $100 more. People want to go get the Steph Currys, the Paul Georges, and that's reasonable. But because of that, we're seeing a little lower ownership on DeJounte Murray slate to slate. And maybe sooner or later, the field's going to catch up on it. But I've been loving DeJounte Murray brand basketball. Derek White also got in the pool for me. Keldon Johnson, I still got decent minutes on him, but maybe a little less minutes because of the front court getting a couple of reinforcements. But you can give me DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Keldon Johnson in a game stack player pool. And then pick of the litter: D-Russ, Patrick Beverly, Edwards, Cat. All these guys very viable. Obviously, they're not all going to coincide for an optimal ceiling, but in this game, I can get behind it. Do you have any strong leans on the T-Wolves here? Now, Cat sounds like an interesting talking point because a lot of the field is probably going to go, if they're going to put 10 plus K into a center, it's probably going to go into Jokic. Yeah, you could talk about playing both of them. But is there any merit in getting Jokic over Cat tonight, or is that
or you mean Cat over Jokic?
Cat over, right? Is that what I said?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it. I just don't see it. He has to share the ball with Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. That's Jokic's show, especially with Will Barnes so questionable. It's going to be all Jokic. The price tag's not even that. I mean, extra $1,500 for Jokic on DraftKings. I'll spend it all day every day. I mean, I just think there's no way I could play. I probably wouldn't play Towns in 20 lines, even in 50. If I full-fitted Towns and just got more Jokic, I think I'm okay with that. There's no way I'm playing Towns. San Antonio side, you mentioned DeJounte Murray. I mean, you're right. He just gets it done. He has 9.8 on DK, so close to that 10K price tag. He definitely has to outscore guys like Bradley Beal and Paul George at that price tag, but he can, coming off a back-to-back 60 bombs. And this is the best matchup out of all. I mean, the Lakers are a premier point guard matchup, but so is Minnesota. So great matchup. People won't play him. I like DeJounte Murray. And other than that, like you said, with Poto back, I'm probably playing nobody else. I did have when I first picked a lot of Doug McDermott for $3,800 small forward, power forward value. If you wanted some of that, playing 29 minutes past couple of games, but again, not like a core player or anything.
Yahoo conditioning was previously ruled out versus the Wolves. Will now be available. After 7 games on the shelf, Pirtle looked good in the workout on Thursday morning and has been given the green light. Greg Popovich says Jakob is very important to us. He anchors our defense. Getting him back will be important for us. So I put him at 20 minutes. But that's just kind of like guessing that since he was having conditioning worries that they wouldn't make him play 32. But if there's a world where that opens up and I don't have a reason to say he's limited, I'm just assuming he's limited. Maybe 7K Jakob becomes a sneaky spot, and I don't mind centers against Karl-Anthony Towns. So something to think about. And then D-Russ, Anthony Edwards, Cat. I know you talked about it. Like these three can cannibalize each other game to game, slate to slate. But there's going to be the peaks and valleys, right? There's going to be games where Edwards sucks, D-Russ is good, Cat's great. D-Russ is great, Cat's good, Edwards sucks, Edwards is great, Cat's D-Russ. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be peaks and valleys, and I think that's the beauty of multi-entering. You can correlate the propensity of the peaks and valleys by saying, I don't want more than 2 of the big 3 in a lineup. I don't want more than 1 of the big 3 in a lineup, and just kind of fired away like that. But when you look at really all these games, I know Memphis is going to be the game that maybe lights up a few more eyes, but we don't have we have a potential slate that could get cut down in half real fast, right? The Warriors could smoke the Cavs, 9.5 point spread. The Miami Heat catch a short-handed Wizards on a back-to-back. Heat have a couple of 2 good defenders, especially Adebayo, rested. Miami Heat could stun the Wizards here. And that's going to leave us with Minnesota, Memphis being projected as competitive. Denver Nuggets are 7.5 point favorites against the Embiidless 76ers. Sixers are looking like they're in shambles. And then a Utah game where they're 10.5 point favorites. So all things equal, if these are the 2 games that everyone agrees on, I think you have to have a deeper appreciation that a Cat 50 could mean something, right? So I wouldn't be that quick to dismiss the T-Wolves here, because at the very least, this is one of the 2 competitive games that we have projected. So I don't want to write these guys off too lazily. So chat, what are you doing with this one before we get on to the next one? Relentless Josh is best 5 to 6K guard tonight. Ooh.
5 to 6K guard.
I don't mind Derek White for sure. I think he'll chuck.
I think Eric Bledsoe's in a good spot against Memphis.
Quan says Daniel Gafford thumb now questionable. Let's pull up the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord, and yes, sir, Daniel Gafford now questionable. So midday questionable, Raj. Also, Naz Reid listed as questionable. More minutes for Cat?
More minutes for Cat or more minutes for Vanderbilt?
Josh Okogie listed as questionable. Could we get a 35, 37-minute Cat game? But Gafford being questionable is an interesting... it's interesting because you could get those big minutes out of Montrezl Harrell, and I think on DraftKings 6,200 becomes a spot to meditate on, because if that 24-minute projection becomes 35 minutes, we see Montrezl Harrell be a 50-plus fantasy point threat. Tough matchup, so I do think it's worth meditating, but I think Fanduel maybe protects you a little bit at 7,600, right? You could almost be okay with fading that 38-40 at 7,600 and not feel like you have to sweat it out. So
Miami is the best team against centers.
They're really, really tough.
Number one ranked defense against centers.
Yeah, so something to look out for. But appreciate Quan for that update. No Harrison Barnes. What a dumb slate. No studs. Hey. No studs on the slate. Harrison Barnes ain't on it. I don't know what to do. Want to play Showdown?
Former number 1 recruit out of high school.
This guy. I feel like half the NBA were number 1 recruits out of high school. depending on.
Not half. I mean, it's only one every year. What do you mean? There's only one guy every year who's number one.
Oh, you mean in the country? Okay, I mean like
yeah,
every state has like a
Oh
number
no, yeah,
one.
no. He was the guy, number one guy in the country. Yeah,
He was good in high school. Oh, really? This NBA player was good in high school? How did that happen? Let's move on to the next game. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the LA Clippers. Project start at 5 for the Clippers. Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, Luke Kennard, Paul George, Ivica Zubac taking on John Morant, Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams. Gonna get you one board. What? A 2-2-1 is our total, and it's a pick'em. So this joins the competitive basketball potential here. I think plenty of guys in this game are very, very, very viable. Paul George comes in at 11K on DraftKings, just 10.1K on Fanduel. It's going to be a lot easier to get 3 studs in the Fanduel lineup, and that's usually the way. So I do think Paul George will gravitate towards being my highest owned small forward, and it's probably going to be, even with the field, I could see the field being at 50% Paul George here. But there's really not one Clipper in this starting lineup that you can get me away from. They have a laundry list of guys that are out: Justice Winslow, Preston, Marcus Morris, Kawhi Leonard, Johnson. Nick Batum, I think, is doubtful. Let me double check that.
Yeah, he's doubtful.
Doubtful. And then Terrence Mann. Terrence's parents have a real nice marriage, but he's also questionable for this one. So I got Terrence Mann questionable with an ankle, and Nick Batum doubtful. So that creates a little bit more strength in minute projections for guys like Luke Kennard, 4,600 on Fanduel, 4,400 on DK. Probably going to be one of your higher owned players on the slate. Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't hate. Without Nick Batum, without Serge Ibaka, I think Ibaka's still in the G League, right? So he would definitely be the main beneficiary as far as like backup big minutes here. Maybe Amir Coffey gets some run here. There is a lot of when I set my my cruncher rules, a lot of times your typical slate, I'm gonna have a rule where I have no more than 3 players from a team. I might have to really think about allowing up to 4 Clippers in a lineup today because they are that modestly priced, right? Other than Paul George, everyone's 6K or less. They're that short. A lot of decent minute projections here. The matchup's okay, and the rest of the slate kind of wide open. So something to think about. Chat, what do you guys think about having 4 Clippers on a lineup just as a general possibility? Would you feel like that's a little too thin? I think it's fair to think either way.
4 is a stretch.
Do you think? I don't know.
I cap it at 3. I cap it at 3.
I think
because the guys who I'm really confident in it's Reggie Jackson, Bledsoe, and Paul George. And then you have like the Zubac, Hartenstein, who just seem to split.
I mean, so if I'm going off of projections alone, my projections,
yeah,
I got let's key in on FanDuel. I got 35 fantasy points on Reggie Jackson at 6,300. I'd take that. I got 35 fantasy points from Eric Bledsoe, 5,700. Yeah. I'd take that. I got 56 from Paul George. I'd take that. I got 31 from Zubac, 5K. I'd take that. I got 24 from 4,600 Luke Kennard. I'd take that. I got 25 from Terrence Mann if he played. If Terrence Mann didn't play, all these starter projections probably go up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think it's a very real possibility that a Clippers stack can hit value. So, might be something you find me in the streets with. Obviously, I don't want all my lineups to have 4 Clippers, but if I split the opto for 100, 150, I don't think I'm losing much sleep, process wise if I get to 4 in a lineup. Just thinking through it. On the Grizzlies side, Ja Morant is 10K. So, man, if people aren't playing DeJounte Murray at 9K or in almost 10K, maybe Ja Morant's a tougher click. And just like DeJounte Murray, he is in one of the more competitive games. Does Steph Curry end up more owned than Ja Morant? It's very possible. And Ja Morant's somebody that's probably going to have to contribute 20, 30 points to keep this game close. Now, Dylan Brooks did come back to kind of dilute the minutes and the shot volume for the guards, right? Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Anthony Melton. You still got Colin Anderson in the midst here, but it looks like if the few games of sample size are any indication, in competitive games, it's Ja Morant's team, and he's going to lead the team in minutes and just about everything else. So as Ja Morant goes, so will the Memphis Grizzlies. Is 10K Ja Morant the a play for you today, and think about your answer in context to what you said you might do with Steph Curry. Like, would you? Man, is it crazy to play John Morant over Steph Curry today?
Again, I probably don't get to a lot of John Morant. With the studs, I'm really just kind of locking into Jokic and Paul George and filling out lineups around those two. I probably like DeJounte Murray over John Morant too in this spot. So John Morant, I probably don't get to any of. I just think with Dylan Brooks back, he's still John Morant, but it's going to kind of cap his ceiling a little bit more.
I don't think it does. Before. I don't think it does. I think
Brooks just is more of a chucker.
John Morant's out there getting your rebounds. He's flirting with triple doubles. The only reason he got 25 minutes last game is because they got smoked out of the gym.
Yep.
I think even if Dylan Brooks is in there playing his allotment of minutes, like John Morant's still out there contributing. So I think it's a little lazy to just write them off because they're back. Now, obviously 10K, I need big boy points. And if I'm getting 50, 60 from Steph Curry, Paul George, guys like that. But I guess the general thought is, like, you could see John Morant getting you 50 points here, right? That's something he's done in 4 of his last 5 games. The only game he didn't do it, he still got you 44 and 25, and that was a game that they lost by effing 30 points, right? So I think John Morant might get a little bit slept on, a little disrespected. You could see me in the streets with some John Morant, DeJounte Murray combos. This would be a little different, and those are guys that, the field just, these aren't household names yet. So I don't know. I think you might be a little too short-sighted there, buddy. What else do you like from this game, though? I think this is a 221 total. It's a pick 'em. I think I will be game stacking this game several different ways. Desmond Bane, kind of like Luke Kennard price point. Actually, he literally is Luke Kennard's price point on both sides. I think it's fine with firing him and Luke Kennard in lineups and hoping for a similar projection on both. Dylan Brooks, 5'9", 6K. I'm looking for 30 plus. Same with the Clippers here. My individual projection on just about every Memphis Grizzlies starter, maybe Sans, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams is fine. Like I don't think it's crazy if I had a couple lineups that had 4 Grizzlies. I feel a little bit more inclined to like the Clipper side a little bit more, but this is a true game stack potential range out.
Oh, we back.
What? Oh, I didn't even know you were gone. So I've just been talking. Oh, chat. I'm out here spitting super hot fire, and this guy's having Wi-Fi problems. I'm just literally going at it. Anyway, chat. You guys agree with John Morant here? I'll get you guys caught up here while Opie tries to figure out his McDonald's Wi-Fi. What's up, Valdo? What's a good gun? Let's get it tonight. Let's go, ladies. Let's go, Valdo. Appreciate you. What up, Desmond? I think I like Bledsoe. I definitely don't mind Bledsoe at all. 5,800. Like I said, if Man ends up being out as well, big minutes for all these starters. You might be able to sprinkle in Brandon Boston, Amir Coffey, guys like that. But I love all the starters, Just play 7 Clippers on DK, says dang lazy mofo. Josh says 3 max on the Clippers. I definitely see myself doing a lot of 3v3 in this game. What would it cost to do Paul George versus John Morant? I think it might be, like I said, it's a lot easier to go 3 studs on Fanduel, just the way sites are set up. But 48 per, that's a couple Luke Kennards, a couple of Desmond Banes maybe. So I think it's still achievable, but I think on DK you're probably going to want to be a little bit more balanced, especially if you do have that infatuation with Nikola Jokic. Should I leave his frozen face up here, or should I? Or should I? I feel like he just got voted. I should grayscale it, and Roger's been eliminated. Oh, breakdown one can. Let's do that. Oh, Raj. Anyway, we got 2 games left on the docket. If he comes back, he comes back. If he don't, we got this. We're pros. Gafford downgraded. Bam's gonna eat Montrez. I agree with that, Jay Smooth. Definitely think Bam Adebayo could be 50 fantasy points waiting to happen. Not that Gafford was a guy I was scared of anyway. I'm definitely worried about the blowout potential though. What up, Dadrian? How do you feel about Zubac against Steven Adams? So really, the only question marks with Zubac slate to slate, it's kind of the same with like Yusuf Nurkic, is how many minutes can I get from Zubac and feel like it's the right projection? He got 31 minutes against the Spurs, but prior to that, 23, 23, 29. So I think a lot of that is volatile, but I also think today, more so than ever, without Batum, with Marcus Morris already being out, this could be a really shorthanded team where I can get 25, 30 minutes and feel like 25, 30 minutes can get me a point per minute ROI. I'm even more interested in Isaiah Hartenstein, especially since Hartenstein is power forward eligible on Fanduel, at least. And I think that's a guy that has some serious potential points per minute. He's 3,900 on Fanduel, 38 on DK. If we got all kinds of news for that game and I can get Hartenstein, not only like if his minute, I got his minute projection at 16 now, and that's giving me over 20 fantasy points. If I can get his minute projection up a little bit higher, or even if I just play ranges of outcomes and get Zubac into some foul trouble against John Morant, likes to drive to the rim, or Jaren Jackson, something like that, I can get some minutes here and some production out of Hartenstein, so I don't mind that.
We back?
Are we? Raj, what do we got to do to get you?
Bro, it definitely was. It wasn't the Wi-Fi. I think it was just my computer just kind of went blank for a second.
I want you to know you had the most unflattering picture frozen on the screen for a minute.
What you want.
And chat wanted to keep it, but I was like, nah, chat, that's my boy. I gotta go to the
good looking.
So anyway, I built up this whole story about the John Morant 10K, but put GTA wasted on Raj.
Jeez.
GTA. I heard they remastered all the GTAs. I thought about getting it, and then my boy Chronic was like, "Yo, Gun, Vanguard is free this weekend, so chat. I need some hard carries on Vanguard, right? You guys out there grinding them COD streets. I haven't been in the game for 5 years. Been on the Fortnite, so y'all trying to carry me, link up with me on Twitter, man. I need them hard carries. 76ers at the Denver Nuggets, project starting 5 for the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Shake Milton, Tobias Harris, and Andre the Giant Drummond taking on Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, and Nikola Jokic. We got a 209.5 total, 7.5 point spread. Favor the home team, Denver Nuggets. So kind of a lopsided spread. We've seen some teams come in and kind of surprise Denver for in some spots. We saw the Indiana Pacers achieve just that, and they were shorthanded that night as well. So again, we don't want to get too attached to predicting blowouts in basketball, but it is something to be at least appreciative of, cognitive of, that it is a range of outcome here. Will Barton is questionable for the Denver Nuggets. Has missed 2 games, the first of which we really did not know he was going to miss. Monte Morris is probable. Will Barton is dealing with lower back pain, downgraded to questionable. We're getting a lot of mixed signals from Denver. He was initially expected to play, then got downgraded to doubtful, and now this could be worse, though, as Coach Mike Malone could have said he was out for the foreseeable future without knowing any details. Bones Highland is probable and would be a strong streamer if Barton sits. That's a blurb from NBC Sports Edge from today. So something to watch. What we have seen in the few game absence of Will Barton, not only has Jokic been just an animal, a monster, a beast, but Monte Morris picking up some duties here and has turned in a couple of strong performances for fantasy himself. And he's a guy, we talked about ownership differences and maybe the field's a little softer on one side versus the other. He's a guy I got at 4.5% the other night against Dallas, dropped 35 fantasy points. So is there a correlation with him doing well for fantasy in the absence of Will Barton? Well, short sample size suggests yes. And it's only natural to think that. I also would say, like, I wouldn't lock him in 100%, but you know, it's something to maybe fill in some player pools, and if you get 30 out of them, let's go. Nikola Jokic, 11.6K on FanDuel, 12K on DraftKings. Mentioned it earlier, but we go to the player projections. Jokic leads everyone in my soft projections from about an hour ago. by 10 fantasy points or greater. 61 DKP, 65 FDP. So I gotta be in the highest raw point scorer on the entire slate, with or without Will Barton. He's a beast. He's a guy that I need some competitive fourth quarter minutes to really get the ceiling out of. So I guess, chat, you guys let me know how your game scripting is. Is the 76ers a team that can keep this game close? Can Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Maxey, Milton, can they stun us here? And can we get 36 minutes of Jokic basketball? Obviously, he can still get 60 and a little less, but I do like him that much more if we can get all of the minutes. So we go to the Denver on-off court tool from NBA Wowie, which is set up from this season, so we don't need to take off Jamal Murray since he hasn't played, but we will take off Will Barton and Michael Porter Jr. And just as an aesthetic, show you guys the production, a usage standpoint and a points per minute standpoint. Desmond says, guys, help me out. Bam or Gobert tonight? Man,
I'm going Gobert.
I kind of like fresh-legged Bam Adebayo, and I know it's not out there, man, but I'm telling you, I got a feeling. I feel like there's a inkling chance that Jimmy Butler doesn't play tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, Jimmy missed a couple games before.
I'm just saying, like, I got this weird feeling that there's.
I hear you. I wouldn't be shocked, if he gets ruled out.
Jokic, 100 minutes of sample size here, 40% assist rate, 38% usage rate. 1.9 DK points per minute, 1.8. That's with Barton off and MPJ off. If we put Barton back on the court, it's not like it's going to change much, right? Oh, Will Barton's in, I can't play Jokic. That's not the case. Jokic is a beast no matter what. Basically, the point guard, I think Barton, if he's in, the biggest hit will probably be Monte Morris. But with Barton in, Jokic is averaging 2 fantasy points per minute. So it actually got better in the less than 200 minute sample size. So definitely like Jokic. He'll definitely be the guy I want to get to the most. And I think we're going to have a decent chunk of value to make it happen. But Raj, let's talk about the 76ers here. Do they surprise us, chat? Do the 76ers surprise us? Is this one of the lower owned teams on the slate? Do we get Tobias Harris and his 40 plus fantasy point projection at a decent ownership or nah? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't think people are going to run to play Tobias Harris. I think at that price tag, you can just get to a guy like, Bradley Beal with higher upside. Get the guy like Jimmy Butler, who I think has more upside. So I'm fully okay with just not getting any Tobias Harris at all. He's priced up, so he has to kind of outscore quite a few studs on the slate, and I just don't see that happening too often. When it comes to Denver, I just start every lineup with Jokic and Monte Morris. Will Barton was probable and then got downgraded to questionable. Mm-hmm. So a midday downgrade, usually leaning towards his out. So if he's out,
I think it was doubtful and upgraded to questionable or something like that.
I thought he was probable. I remember last night, it was probable, and then he was downgraded to questionable.
Got it.
So I guess if we're leaning towards that, him being out, I start every lineup with Monte Morris and Jokic. Not thinking twice about it. Just build around those guys. Like the thing with Tobias, like you put Jokic in the lineup, you really only have room for one other stud, if that. Like if you want a big balance, you can't really play a Jokic with the Gobert and Jimmy, or Jokic with the Bradley Beal and Jordan. It's Jokic and another stud, and you fill it out with some value guys.
Yeah.
So getting to Tobias, I just think it's real tough. Even the guards on Philly, I think with the guards being kind of relatively healthy from what they were, Seth Curry, Maxey, Milton, Korkmaz is there. It's just kind of tough to get to any of those guys.
This year with Embiid and Ben Simmons off the court, Tobias Harris on the court, 127 minutes of sample size, 1.2 DKP points per minute for Tobias Harris, has a 29% usage rate. I think if you want Jokic to get full minutes here, I think in a way, how you say if Steph Curry's going to get his big game, fourth quarter run, you're probably going to need Ricky Rubio or Darius Garland to deliver. Would you not correlate Jokic with Tobias Harris? Or maybe you do it reverse, right? Jokic could still blow out the Sixers, but if Tobias Harris has a good game, it probably means that Jokic has a good game, right? So maybe key player Tobias Harris. Toby dropped 29 against Utah, 27 minutes. That was a laugher. It was a blowout. Tough spot, and that's why it's fair to maybe project that here. But I think that's something I could accomplish in Fantasy Cruncher, is to set a rule that if a lineup has Tobias Harris, have Jokic, but don't reverse it, right? I can have Jokic as a standalone, but I definitely think a ceiling game from Tobias Harris at 8,800 likely means a competitive game for the Sixers and a strong game
For sure.
from Jokic. So
I think it could be really split too with Curry, Milton, Maxey. I don't think Tobias's heavy lifting is necessarily as great as some of these other guys that he needs to have.
I don't know, man. I think it is. I think it is. Maybe. I guess you could say Maxey or Seth Curry get hot. And then Andre Drummond. No one's thinking about him. $8,200. Is there a world where he drops an okay 45 or even a slight breaking
sure.
60?
I think you have to be running 100 lineups to get to him minimum 150, 100. There's no way I get there in 3, 10, 20, even 50 is questionable. I think you need to be running 100 lineups in a 6-game slate.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're max entering, sure, you can have him in the pool, but it's going to be a no for me.
12 minutes against Utah, by the way.
What about a third piece from Denver? Like if Will Barton gets ruled out, I think a guy like they haven't been great, but PJ Dozier, Jeff Green seeing minutes. He's still Jeff Green, but he saw 33 minutes.
It's not fun. It's not comfortable. Aaron Gordon could get you 30, right? That is a loose outcome.
Yeah, so I played Aaron a couple times. He wasn't doing anything, so I actually decided to watch a Denver Nuggets game, and he's just not being used the way he needs to be used. He literally he never dribbles the ball up the court as a point guard. He's just running to a corner and wait to see a ball and wait to chuck a shot. Like he's just not being used.
I mean, that's a lot of players, but I'm just saying in the thought of getting to a third Nuggets player, you get 36% of Gordon. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Did him and Toby, were they teammates in Orlando, or was it like one bus was arriving while the other was leaving?
I think it was one was leaving, and the other one came in. Yeah.
Cool. And then Bones Highland, PJ Dozier. Highland got a little bit of steam. What we've seen is Austin Rivers start, and Highland had steam from 2 games ago where a lot of it came from garbage minutes in the fourth quarter. So I'm not running to play him here. I think he did get banged up in that game as well. So I guess the third guy would be volatile at best, but there would be room for a third nugget to get there. And if you game scripted a blowout, you could really get there in garbage time from the Doziers and the Highlands, but that's a slippery slope to project here, right? Get caught up on chat here. But Jenkins, cut the crap. Who's the best play on the slate? It's Nikola Jokic.
Easy.
End stream. Appreciate you coming.
6-game slate. Don't get too cute. Just play Jokic.
Quinn, rich homie Quinn says also you could have Bam with potentially no Butler, and he would always be way more underowned than he should be. Again, the Butler thing is just kind of me, I don't know, being a pessimist or skeptical or something like that. And it just seems like if Lowry rested last night, and I know that they're going to load manage these guys with Butler playing deep minutes yesterday.
I mean, look, if Butler gets ruled out, you start every lineup with Jokic and Bam. Like, I think it's pretty simple.
I would agree. I think that's fair. But also, we're just speculating.
And Lowry, I guess, too, right? I mean, if you just want to go back in games, you have time. If he does get ruled out, I mean, Lowry's a core play with no Tyler Hero and Jimmy.
If Hero is out, too. I think, again, Butler's probably going to play. I'm just thinking, it feels like there's a chance something weird could happen. But maybe Lowry to Hero is just a 1-to-1 minutes-wise, and I'm overthinking it. Chat. We got to do a PrizePicks plug. We got to do it. Have you guys heard about Twitch Prime? Have you guys heard about PrizePicks.com? It is DFS simplified. It is prop betting simplified. Some of you guys are in states like me where we can't download the DK Sportsbook, the Fanduel Sportsbook, and our friends are firing off screenshots of the same game parlays and enjoying life, and we're over here battling sharks with 150 lineups. Well, if you want to neutralize that just a little bit, you can go to prizepicks.com. You can sign up and you can use promo code GUNDACKER, and they will match your first deposit up to $100, and then you'll be able to kind of be like the cool kids and play some prop betting, but also you can prop bet fantasy points. It's just, that's my lane, right? That's where I vibe. So show you guys what it's looking like. Today's board for NBA, if we go to fantasy points, Bradley Beal's at 41.5. Montrezl Harrell's at 27. Hey, Daniel Gafford just got ruled down 27. It's a tough matchup, but maybe a little light number there. Jimmy Butler's at 41.5. Let's look at some of my top fantasy projected guys and then compare it to their board. So if you guys are subscribed to the RunDFS.com VIP, we have a companion tab for your prop betting ventures. And one of the things I've done is I put the PrizePicks fantasy point projections based on my model. And then you can compare my points to their points. So I have Jokic at 65 PrizePicks points. I would assume that I'm a little above what they had. Last time I was 20 points off. So they're at 56. We're a lot closer today than we were last night. I'll tell you that. But I'm still over that. What else do I have? I have Paul George pretty aggressive as well. They got DeJounte Murray at 42. So, I feel like I'm going to be over on that. I got him at 50. A little 8-point gap there. Anybody else kind of sticking out here today? Monte Morris is at 25. Maybe jump on that if Will Barton got rolled out. And the other guy I wanted to look at, they have John Morant at 42. If you think that game stays close, you can maybe correlate John Morant with some Paul George. And Paul George is at 46. I have Paul George at second on the slate at 56. So that's a 10-point gap between my projection and their projection. So I would probably like the Paul George pick. So that's how I play PrizePicks. I look for the difference there. Now you can isolate it to specific stat, right? Real points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made, free throws made. And then there's also football tonight. So you can actually have a couple cards where you got a Paul George pick, and then you go to like the NFL card. And you could say, hey, I like Jacoby Myers. It is PPR scoring for over 10 fantasy points. Put them together, and boom, you can be in your man cave watching NBA football and make a little money, a little scratch on the side here during the Atlanta Patriots game. So check them out, PrizePicks.com. $20 becomes $40. $100 becomes $200. Playable immediately. No slow drip. None of that garbage. And you'll be good to go, right? See what you guys got in the live chat before we move on to the next game. J. Cole, Jermaine, Cole. What's up, Squeak Diesel? I appreciate that. Gun, who's your feel it in your plums play of the night? Man, I like DeJounte Murray and John Morant getting a little overlooked because of their price points. So maybe that's a way that I will be a little different, but that's from a FanDuel state of mind, because I also think I could play a Paul George or a Jokic with those two on FanDuel and live to tell about it. Austin Rivers is a lock. What? Okay. All right.
Didn't expect that one.
I'm an Austin Rivers guy. I like Austin Rivers. Austin. Can you pass the turkey? That's my Doc impression. No, not. Swing and a miss. Main event tonight. The Toronto Raptors at the Utah Jazz. Project starting 5 for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Ken Burch taking on Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert. 215.5 is our total. 10.5 point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. This one is projected to be much like some of the earlier games, little lopsided, double-digit point spread here.
Disrespect to the Raptors.
Going into Utah, that's where teams go to die.
It don't matter for the Raptors.
All right, well, like the Cavs, uphill battle, but big minutes projected on a concentrated core of players. Fred VanVleet, I got him at 38. I've got Gary Trent, high 30s, 40 maybe. Scotty Barnes. We got Achua down. OG Anunoby down. That's a big absence, right? A lot of minutes to fill there. Raj is going to put on his rose-colored glasses here, but what do you do with this Raptors team? Much like the Cavs, to an extent, I feel like they're going to get mollywopped, but do we just get undeniable minutes? And if they keep that game within 20, am I getting a decent return on investment for some of these Raptors players?
Yeah. So a guy like Gary Trent just seems to get it done, every day. With OG Anunoby out, I think it's even a slight bumper, but I mean, he's just taking 16 shots a game, playing 36, 38, 40 minutes. 37, 37, 32. I know the matchup is tougher, but at 5,900, I'll take that all day, every day. I think Kem Birch at 3K stone minimum. I know Rudy Gobert, obviously a tough matchup against Gobert, but with the Chua out, I think someone's got to play center, and at stone 3K, he might have to play 25, maybe 30 minutes if Boucher stays a bit in the doghouse. So he's there. I think Siakam at 7,900. Now, if Siakam plays the 5, I think that's even more interesting. Where, I think that's not the best matchup for Gobert. Like, obviously, you don't want to attack Gobert, but when you do, you want to attack him with guys that kind of stretch him out a little bit more. And obviously, with Siakam being more of a perimeter guy, not a true center, if he plays a 5, I think he can bring Gobert out and do all right fantasy wise. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. My bad. Muted my mic. It sounds like they're mowing or something out there. I'm vacuuming. I don't know. He's vacuuming.
I think the Raptors are interesting in this spot. I mean, like you said, it's Utah, tough matchup. They're going into Utah, but the minutes are there. And again, back to the Kem Birch thing, at 3K stone minimum, you give a 3K stone minimum guy 25, 30 minutes. I don't even know if I care about the matchup.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of interested in a few of these other guys. So I don't hate the thought process there. Svi Mikhailiuk, like you said, if I get to a high minute projection on a guy like him, or if I think the game gets a little lopsided, Delano Banton also might soak up some minutes here. So I think these are some 100K to first value plays, that I probably couldn't justify a lot in single entry cash games and 20 entry, something like that. But yeah, I can game script this thing to go a bunch of different ways. So something to ponder.
You think Gary Trent's safe?
On DraftKings, 5,900. Yeah. First of all, I put him at 40 minutes. Do you agree with that?
Sure. I mean, 38 to 40, yeah.
I mean, if you just think 5,900 for 40 minutes, it's just like you take 30. Like, if you just think that's an undeniable opportunity.
Yeah. You take 30, and if he gets really, really hot, he has upside.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to George and Adrian for their VIP subscriptions. I get notifications on the phone, so I know who the real ones are. Yeah, I guess so. I think on FanDuel, the debate becomes a little tougher at 7K, but yeah, I can get behind that. I don't mind it.
What about Birch? Would he be a kind of a key value? Because I mean, I don't think there's a lot of amazing value today.
No, definitely not. The matchup, like, first of all, it's center only on DK. You're not forgoing Jokic. If even if Butler's in, obviously, and if you're late, nothing saying Butler's out. We're just speculating. Center's still a beefy position on a slate like this. Rudy Gobert, Bam Adebayo, potentially Montrezl Harrell if that Gafford questionable turns into an out. Even in a bad matchup, I do think he could produce point per minute, like, for fantasy.
Who's your favorite 3K guy then?
Well, let me reference the RunDFS.com NBA VIP player projections tab and sort it from greatest DK value to worst. Give me a minute.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm working on it.
Because I don't think there's a lot of great 3K plays today.
This almost never happens. Svi Mikhailiuk comes out as my top value play. Then,
okay, yeah, so I'll take Birch over Svi any day.
No, what? No, absolutely not. And then Raul Neto, absence of Spencer Dinwiddie. Jared Vanderbilt. Remember, if Okogie is down, if Naz Reid is out, he's going to be one of those obvious in hindsight power forward eligible guys. Aaron Holiday, absence of Spencer Dinwiddie. Ricky Rubio up there at 6,900. I got him for 42. Gorgeous Niang is up here. Like, there's a lot of names up here that don't have Toronto next to their name. Kem Birch makes it finally at a 5.9x value, 17 fantasy points. I could do without 17 fantasy points. I don't care if you're free at that point. Like, I think you're gonna want 25 plus normally. So
I will say on DK, the salary is real tight. So the extra kind of 800, 900, 700 you save playing Birch instead of some of those guys, I think does make a difference.
I agree. Chat, what are you guys doing with this one? While we do that, where are we at? 100 plus of the realest OGs on YouTube hanging out live. I always expect these streams at the later of the week, Thursdays and Fridays, to be a little lower in viewership because there's a lot of NFL shows live against us right now. So shout out to the real ones for hanging out. Hit that thumbs up for me. If you're lurking out there, you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 6K subscribers by January 1st. Remember, there is also a late lock tonight. So maybe that also lowers the sense of urgency for people to get it in. So we got a lot of time now to maybe relive some questions here. And then also chat if you guys have any 1v1s, 2v2s, anything like that, throw them at me. But I would like to remind you guys that in about an hour, I'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord in the voice chat. It'll be once you sign up on RunDFS.com, here's how it goes. RunDFS.com, boom, click VIP memberships. Look at, oh, snap, we got people winning millions of dollars. Oh, snap, I want to be part of that crew. And then you come down here, you find a pass that's right for you. My boy, I just had it. My boy Adrian just got a 2-week pass. My boy George just got a... My boy George, god dang it. My bad, George. My friend George just got a week pass. Steve got a week pass. Yeah, so we got a couple Vipers going at it. So once you get into your to your subscription, you go up here, you click VIP portal. There's going to be links to the NBA spreadsheet, the Discord, and then between now and getting into the voice chat, I'll be working on the NFL spreadsheets and projections for tonight as well. So you don't just get NBA coverage, you get NFL as well. And then you'll be able to open up this Discord. If you don't already have Discord, it's an app you can download on your desktop or mobile device. And right over here to the left, where it says NBA chat with the little earphone there, you click on that. We'll be there having some fun today. Should be a lot of fun sweating this one out. People hunting down prop picks and all that good stuff. So go check that out. All right, chat. If you guys got questions, comments, concerns, throw them at us in chat. Maybe we'll discuss some hot takes, and maybe we'll discuss some lineup construction, stuff like that. Definitely got a little bit of time here to knock that out. If you are getting out of here, again, just hit that thumbs up, subscribe. I appreciate it. But let's get caught up on chat. J. Cole. Jay. Jermaine. Cole. Mr.
Shout out J. Cole.
Mr. Nice Watch. Young Simba. J. Cole. Says, good point on Siakam at center. Desmond says, I miss when Gunn covered Golden State Cleveland game, but I love Wiggins in this draft trade revenge game. I'm with it. By the way, chat, if you are getting out of here in the morning tonight, look for the Slate Starter podcast on the Osmo channel. Myself and EMAC will throw that out there. And then tomorrow, big day of content. We'll have a live stream on the Osmo channel with my boy. I think it's with Greg. I'm not sure. I think it's with Greg. It's usually with Greg for the NFL top stacks of this week. And then we'll be back live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Raj, are you going to be available tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, should be good for tomorrow.
All right. And Chronic said he would be good for tomorrow. Okay. So we got the 3 live crew. And that's always fun. So bring the hype, bring the energy, chat, for that 3-man crew tomorrow. Juan Murillo, what's up, Juan? Says, thoughts on Aaron Holiday if the Dinwiddie is out? I think Dinwiddie is out, right? So Aaron Holiday, Raul Neto, I think in essence kind of the same play, and maybe you give the nudge to the guy that starts for maybe outweighing the minutes there, but I don't even think I'm going to be setting a rule. I think I just let them fly, and if I get 2 of those guys in the same lineup, yeah, sure. Do you disagree with that, Raj? Neto versus Holiday?
I'm going Holiday over Neto for sure. I mean, if you're gonna pick it up, I would do 75% Holiday, 25% Neto.
Yeah. Butthole says, how about Gary Payton II with potential blowout run? I think Gary Payton, what's his name, Kuminga, guys like that definitely could soak up some of that blowout run. Damian Lee, it's a little risky to kind of play that way. But when the fourth quarter comes around, they go out there and get all of the action, get all the work. So I don't think it's a crazy thing, but it's more of a 100K to first big field tournament thing for me. Definitely wouldn't try and achieve that in 20, but that's just my risk tolerance being a little bit lower than others. Josh Gilham says, I'm playing Brandon Boston if we get Terrence Mann out early. I'm with that. Shout out to Dale. Anthony Edwards in a smash spot. I think he's in a good spot. I talked about the volatility on a guy like Edwards, being part of a big 3 with D-Russ and Cat. They're going to cannibalize each other slate to slate. So there's going to be big games from him. There's going to be lackluster games from him. I think it's an okay spot, but I don't think I would ever like trust one of those threes as a full send core guy unless one of the other three were out. But I think he's fine. Obviously, minutes and usage will be there for him, right? NFL is easy, just plug and play. Yes, sir. 3-headed monsters tomorrow. Dude, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. There's Chronic. Who the plays? What do you like from the Jazz
Jokic.
From the Jazz side, we kind of I don't want to say slept on Rudy, but Rudy Gobert is a really strong play, I think. And one of the things that the Raptors do, if I go pull up the team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and sort it from blocks per game allowed, you will find that the Toronto Raptors they're tied for the second most blocks per game allowed in all of basketball. Rudy Gobert is averaging 2 blocks a game. Might be a good. Yeah.
Do you think if Siakam sees a lot of time at center, do you think that affects Gobert?
Maybe, but I'm not convinced that that's the play here. But it's it's still a oversight. Words stuttering. The Run DFS triple threat. Yes, sir. Hagun Hartenstein thoughts. I do like Isaiah Hartenstein. One of the benefits going for him right now, Nick Batum is out, so that front court already without Marcus Morris. Serge Ibaka at last check was still in the G League. I guess it's worth double checking that. Chat, if anybody has otherwise on that, let me know. But as long as Serge Ibaka is still in the G League, this front court is pretty small. Is it maybe Coffee? Is it Coffee a front court type of guy? I can go to the rotations here. I think there's a chance that Hartenstein could get 18 minutes if everything was as is, right, with no Batum. But if you got a Zubac and foul trouble or something like that, maybe even a little bit more viability in Hartenstein getting to 20 plus minutes. So something to watch there. Amir Coffee played 24 minutes that last game. So he played alongside Hartenstein a lot too. So yeah, I think Hartenstein could be a beneficiary of no Nick Batum. And if you got 20 plus minutes, like I said, Hartenstein is not Jokic.
Yep.
He's Jokic. Let's take something down today. Yeah. What the freak is going on outside? Do you hear that?
I had a little bit of a loud bag.
It sounds like a bulldozer is just going to town out there.
There's some construction.
Maybe. I don't know. It's annoying though. Raj, 3 locks in 20 lineups as of now.
3 locks as of now. Jokic, Monte Morris, and let's do Gary Trent Jr.
Okay, that's fair. And for me on FanDuel, I do like Jokic. It's lock is aggressive because he's that expensive, but I guess Jokic for me, I think I'm gonna try my best to make a Jokic, Paul George, and maybe John Morant lineup work. But I also really like DeJounte Murray. So man, I'm chasing that 100K. Today. You guys are out there in the group in the Discord.
We got any 1v1 bets? I think we really disagree. I don't think today there's too much
1v1 bets. I don't know. You like Siakam quite a bit. It sounds like you like the Raptors. You want to just bet this game?
Okay, no. See, now you want to fish bet. Is what you're saying? I'm not betting that game.
I'll give you the 10 points.
Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna think about that one. 10 points.
10 points. I'll get it 10 points. Raptors plus 10.
That's strong. I'll think about it.
You fake. You're not real. You did all that hyping up the Raptors.
That's plus 10.
This guy. Chat tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern on this channel. Tonight, midnight on the Osmo channel. And then I think it's 12:30 Eastern on the YouTube channel. Alex says, any full game stacks? Yes. For me, you can give me the Memphis and Clippers game stack. John Morant being the most expensive guy on the Memphis side, Paul George $10K, the most expensive guy on the Clipper side. Everything else is very obtainable, 5 to 6K or less. So I think that's a game stack. I think if you could squeeze it, T-Wolves versus Spurs is kind of stackable, but I think the T-Wolves are a little bit more expensive to make that extra viable. I am about to just go nuts on these guys outside. I don't know what they're doing, but I think Memphis and Clippers are the most likely to game stack. Quan said you're letting down the 6.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, we'll take it.
Letting down the 6 with my woes. Not betting
we'll do it. Raptors
plus 10.
Raptors plus 10 points.
Yeah,
I'll take it. Yep.
What is it? 20.
Yeah.
20 American.
It always is.
Always is. USD. All right. Any final words before I give the old heave ho?
Big season's coming. But I'm due.
He's due. All right. Well, I'll see you in the voice chat in just a little bit. That'll be it for him. Hung up on him, chat. He's gone. Anyway, chat, man, I appreciate you guys as always. As always. Literally always. Making a little bit of my day be a little bit of your day. If you're on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker. DMs are open if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Otherwise, we will be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. Probably for now until at least football lock. I'll probably be there until close to the last game locks. Remember, an hour and a half separates the first tip-off from the last tip-off. And then I'll jump out and get some other stuff done for tomorrow. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Hopefully we make a lot of money. And hopefully you guys can spam me with those screenshots on Twitter. And we keep it going into tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We're back at it. Looks like Chronic and Raj. That's fun. Bring your popcorn. Bring your beverages, man. I love you guys more than you'll ever know. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.